Stopping by. I apologize for not being on. I've actually been running a fever for quite a few days, but I have a little bit of a science background, so I thought I'd share with you the different articles that I came upon and impressions that I got when reading about this coronavirus. First of all, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there right now about biowarfare, and there happens to be an article from November 16th, 2015 about a lab-made coronavirus. And as a scientist, I can tell you that there are biological studies done, and that there is cross-contamination among species and on inanimate objects that can spread a sickness. And we have a problem with, wait a minute. Okay, so basically I'm got all the links below to these articles that I'm showing you. And I want to let you know that there are some things that you can do, and studying the situation, doing an analysis can help. So I want to tell you a little bit about science, and not just of viruses, but of people and species. Okay, so we live here on this planet Earth, right? And what happens is people can grow exponentially if they don't control their growth. In other words, and this happens with viruses, it happens with bacteria, it happens with all kinds of different things. There's stuff in the air, you can't see it, it's imperceptible to the naked eye. But what's going on is that there's a lot of life on Earth and different forms of it, including viruses like the coronavirus. Now, what happens when you have too densely populated of areas of any species? This could be an invasive species of plant or an a species of animals. Uh, it doesn't matter. You've had, for example, the coyote used to be on the endangered species lists in the early 70s. They took it off the list, and now it's become a nuisance. So you have overpopulation because there aren't the natural predators. What are natural predators to humans? Bacteria and diseases can kill humans. Now, as we get more science, we figure out ways to fight these bacteria and viruses and extend life. As a matter of fact, in the United States, the life expectancy just went up. It was on the news this morning. For the first time in 4 years, the life expectancy in the U.S. has gone up. I'll show you. So basically, it's been going down year after year, and they said because of the opioid epidemic, Canada has the highest, the United States, but they're saying it's gone back up. It's finally stopped declining, see? But this is not about that. It's about the danger of the coronavirus. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of science, and I'm going to tell you that there are different theories out there about the coronavirus, and the reason it's spreading. As you may have heard, the story is that there was a market that sold seafood and exotic animals that people eat. I happen to be vegan, I don't eat animals at all. But allegedly they think it was spread in that one particular area. In China, you have a very, huge population problem. You have a huge population problem in India. You have countries that have overgrowth of humans. They don't control their populations. China used to have a one-child policy because there were so many people, and they've changed that. Uh, it's no longer one-child policy, but it's a when you've got a huge population and you're running the country and your citizens, you want to have quality citizens, not quantity. Anyway, to become a world leader, they invest in the education of their people and so on and so forth. So I'm not saying anything about their policies. I'm just saying that in science, in environmental studies, any species, it's going to go to maximum entropy. And if you have a cold right now or a fever, you could have a coronavirus. It may not be the novel coronavirus. Now, I'd actually like to show you this article. Excuse me, my throat's itching. This article is available by the Department of Health and Human Services. It is written by scientists. Scientists around the world work together and share information. And it says coronaviruses are enveloped in positive sense RNA viruses are characterized by club-like spikes that project from their surface an unusually large RNA genome and a unique replication strategy. Coronaviruses cause a variety of diseases in mammals, birds, ranging from enteritis in cows and pigs and upper respiratory disease in chickens and potentially lethal human respiratory infections. Here we provide a brief introduction to the coronaviruses, discussing their replication, pathogenicity, current prevention and treatment strategies, and we also discuss outbreaks of the highly pathogenic severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS-CoV, and the recently identified Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, coronavirus. Now, this was written in 2016, okay? So, but it goes on to say the different kinds. The link will be below here, and it basically, the virus is in this family. This is a very large family of viruses, and they're calling it the novel or a new virus. And they're saying that some are saying that it might be linked to a lab in a biowarfare program. If a country wanted to cause a virus to be spread on their own people, do you think they would want to do that? They're already having a trade war with the United States, and I seriously doubt that this was an intentional distraction from Hong Kong and other stuff like that. Okay, I really doubt that. Now, what I think happened was it's a very densely populated area. The people are used to eating all kinds of foods that are unique, and animals and insects spread these food surfaces get contaminated. They don't eat raw vegetables usually in China because of disease, especially like parasites. They tend to cook their vegetables, and The coronavirus can be killed by heating. It can be killed by various applications of disinfectants. And it can live on cloth. It can live on hard surfaces for hours. And if somebody, you can't see it, it's invisible, right? So you go to the checkout and you touch the little buttons on the checkout to process your orders. And you go home and you rub your nose. You don't think about it. You don't remember to wash your hands immediately after. And even if you use hand sanitizer, it doesn't kill it. Or you touch your wallet when you put your card back in your wallet. And you put your wallet in your purse. And the germ is in your purse now. It's in your wallet or in your pocket. It's on your clothes. And even if you did wash your hands, you're cross-contaminating. And I was watching, I was thinking about what I know about science, and a lot of people don't think about these things, but there is so much cross-contamination, it's virtually impossible not to get exposed. And the way we have an international food system where we're getting food from all kinds of countries, and even items that aren't food, where you've got insects or other, you've got workers loading stuff on, handling packages. It's going across an automated surface, and the germs are on the surfaces. How do you control something like that? Well, over in China, they're spraying stuff with disinfectant. Um, but it's something that happens when you have overpopulation of any species. Disease starts to come in. So there's problems with too many people being born and not enough resources to give them a clean, decent living. And there are loads of people, and then when you go over to other countries that are developing, like Africa or India and China, and you trade with them, or you even use labor like making hats and clothing. These people sew the clothes, they ship the clothes over, and then along with the clothes that are sprayed with formaldehyde and stuff comes the germ. The germ comes on the clothes. You don't know it. And then a shopkeeper picks up the germs on the clothes. Uh, so this idea that you're simply going to kill the germ. I'm just going to add this to my list. Now, they're trying to figure out, what's causing. Anybody could have a fever from anything. It's flu season. Let me just drop this link on here so I can add it underneath. So what do we know? We know that you've got to be really careful with being around crowds, exposing yourself to new items, and whoops, let me close this one out. Alright, so controlling the spread of the virus requires private health and medical measures, right? So it spreads through direct and indirect contact. So, doorknobs, light switches, bed rails, smartphones, sheets, countertop surfaces, phones, like I talked about, you go into the store and you uh, touch or you pump gas. You go to the gas station to pump some gas. How many hands have been on that? How do you know where you pick up your germs from? Look at that. HIV infected needles and gas pumps. So, when you stop to think about SARS or coronavirus or anything for that matter, I mean, you can't live in a bubble. Yet people every single day are touching things with their hands that hundreds of other people have touched that are not sanitized. And certain infections require special things like iodine to clean them off. For example, the norovirus, what's that, adenovirus? Adenovirus can be serious, and there's different forms of it. So basically with these viruses, you have different varieties of them, and they're very hard to get rid of because they take over the cells in your body, and they live on surfaces, and it's really hard to get rid of them. So, they don't have, this is an adenovirus that can cause blindness and fever. But in some people, they'll be carrying it around, spreading it everywhere, and they just have a runny nose, and they're like typhoid Mary. They're spreading it around, and they don't have a fever. Their body's been exposed to it many times, and they're strong. They have a strong immune system, but some old lady or a baby gets it, and it kills them. So that's why you should stay home if you even have a little cold. But people don't do that. They travel around, they get on an airplane, they give it to everybody on the airplane. Squirrels, birds, other animals come in contact with surface areas that carry it, and insects do too. It's in the food supply, it's everywhere, it's ubiquitous. What are you going to do? The best thing you can do is to practice really super diligent behavior, stock up on stuff for colds and flus, maybe a week or two worth of food, and take one day at a time. But what are they going to do? Close all the ports? And even if they close all the ports in China, if they're shipping goods, if they're shipping even mail, they can be spreading it. And so that's, let's do coronavirus. I hate to be a party pooper here, but so just do a little preparedness and be diligent. And I would, I would be careful what I ate, where I ate, and avoid crowds. And each person's, going to be different. And so, it's kind of funny because a lot of viruses are in you already. You might have already been infected with this years ago, but not this novel version of it. So, they talk about it right here. And you can look this up yourself, but it talks about the life cycle of the virus and everything. So they're up to like 7,000. Let's go do a quick search before I close out and see if the World Health Organization has issued anything on this. They were having a meeting today whether or not, okay, it said it decided to set Thursday on whether or not to declare it. Yeah, I know that. Let's see. Let's see if they've declared anything. A new task force, 195 U.S. citizens are in isolation. Now here's the problem. They're only allowed to hold the citizens for 3 days, right? But the virus might take as long as 14 days to show up. There have been viruses like, say, the chickenpox virus that take up to 21 days to show up. It's in you, you're spreading it through coughing droplets and mild symptoms for 3 weeks, spreading it to other people. And the incubation period of this particular virus, they don't know yet. They don't know enough about it. They're saying up to 14 days. It could be up to 21. We don't know. They don't know enough about it. Everybody's different. And of course, weak and frail people are probably going to get sick faster and quicker. So they're still deliberating, I guess. Well, if you know anything, let me know. And I would say, I don't know what they're going to do, but it's very hard to contain something like a virus when you have so many unknowns and you have a food supply, commerce with countries, and travel. So this is it, guys. We're on, a population control type of thing with dense. There's a lot of people in the world, guys. A lot of people in the world. And, sometimes what happens is that the population gets thinned by these viruses because people are living together too densely populated. Uh, and why is this coming up with Nigeria? Oh, they must have updated it recently. Okay, there's 7.7 billion people in the world. And there's only so much. This virus could be a blessing in disguise. I'm sorry to say, but the world is overpopulated. And Mother Nature will find ways to thin the population out of animals, humans, species. And, there's natural predators on humans, bacteria and viruses. And that's it, What can you do? Stay healthy if you can. And I wish you the best. Take care, everybody. Bye.